Hi, I'm Irene Tansman, author of Baby and Arlene's Autism War. If you have a loved one enrolled in a rehabilitation facility in Massachusetts, or you were considering rehabilitation for your loved one with autism and/or intellectual disability, or you yourself attend a day or are enrolled in a day please consider joining the Rehabilitation Families in Massachusetts Facebook group. Today, I'd like to tell you about a new Facebook group I created, the Discrimination, Human Rights Violations, and Severe Developmental Disabilities in Massachusetts Facebook group. In this group, we will be discussing discrimination and human rights violations against those with severe developmental disabilities by the Massachusetts Department of Developmental Services, its contracted agency providers, and by Mass Health and its rehabilitation providers. Our goal is to figure out an advocacy path to combat this discrimination in Massachusetts. If you believe your loved one with severe intellectual and developmental disabilities has been discriminated against, please consider joining our group. I will place links to both these groups in the YouTube description below. Today, I'd like to concentrate on just one of the ways in which this population is discriminated against, and that is access to augmentative communication and communication instruction when it is needed. In the Disability Law Center's recent report on the direct support professional workforce crisis, the author of the report provided the following example of abuse of nonverbal individuals. During a monitoring visit, the DLC, Disability Law Center, staff noticed two nonverbal residents without any augmentative and alternative communication devices. DLC staff asked if either resident had ever been evaluated to use AAC or assistive technology. DLC learned that both residents were supposed to always have communication books on their person, but the books were locked in an office on another floor. Additionally, one of the residents had been previously evaluated to use assistive technology, but the group home didn't follow up on this. The group home was essentially silencing two residents by failing to understand their communication needs and invest time to ensure the residents could communicate effectively. Those of us with loved ones who are nonverbal, low verbal, or who have unintelligible speech understand that the above example is more common than not in the Massachusetts system for the developmentally disabled. This is not a rare instance of abuse. This is the norm. There have been recent advances in the field of applied behavior analysis that are specifically designed to help individuals with communication difficulties who are at high risks for having or developing serious maladaptive behavior because of their communication deficits. We know what to do and we know how to do it. Yet it is next to impossible to obtain this type of help in the DDS system. Instead of helping a person to learn to communicate effectively in the Massachusetts system, we have lists of punishments, seclusion, and restraints. Because of recent advances in technology, there are also a multitude of devices and apps for augmentative communication that were previously unavailable. Many of our loved ones never had the opportunity to try the technology currently available or the advances in the behavioral field. The Massachusetts DDS system leaves so many without access to make their own choices, live a productive life, and take part in their community. According to the Mass Rehabilitation regulations, the DAHAB provider must provide skills training in the following areas: self-help development, sensor motor development, communication development, social development, independent living development, effective development skills, social development skills, behavior, and behavior development. The day hab provider must provide therapy when recommended through the service needs assessment. Therapy services include A, speech and language therapy, B, occupational therapy, C, physical therapy, and D, behavior management. So, how come there is no speech therapy in any of the rehabilitation facilities I'm familiar with? Usually, there is a speech therapy who performs a so called evaluation or needs assessment. This assessment will say that the individual does not require speech therapy or any type of help or instruction with communication. These speech therapists will make this recommendation for individuals who cannot communicate to staff that they need to go to the bathroom while in the community. People who are in desperate need of help and instruction with communication. People who use maladaptive behavior to communicate because they have no access to anything else. It is not unusual for one of these speech therapists to conclude that within a population of several hundred seriously impaired individuals, there's not a single person in need of help with communication. And now I want to say a few words about individuals who use augmentative communication quite well. Often they come from school systems and families that put in a lot of effort into helping them communicate. These individuals are not immune to the discrimination against nonverbal individuals. When those who communicate well with their devices have the requests ignored time and time again, the individual may eventually give up and stop communicating. I've seen this a few times, and it's a heartbreaking tragedy. This is how I see the state of the system for those with communication difficulties. Please let me know what your experience has been. I'm particularly interested in finding out about programs that are accommodating this population. I'm sorry my video has been so depressing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.